should be our tagline.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee, here to talk some Green Bay Packers. And boy, oh boy, I think we all need to take a step back and a deep breath, because this whole Matt LaFleur contract negotiation, I think it's gotten under some people's skin. Some people want him back. Some people want him gone. I think more people want him back than more people want him than the people that want him gone. I think the poll questions have kind of talked about that, but you're getting multiple reports coming out and people giving opinion pieces. That's been the big, I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, with all the problems going on in the world today, the fact that we got people arguing over this type of stuff, it just tickles me to death. I'm just telling you right now, but we've got some people that are mad because they put an opinion piece out and other people took them for their word at it. And now they're coming back on it going, no, I didn't say that. I didn't report that. It's just my opinion. And then, of course, you had Rob Demovsky kind of blow up today on the Wildy and Tausch show. And I'm just going to kind of lay it out there for everybody. If you watch the morning show, obviously we covered Justice Mosqueda's article, and he was the one who reported originally on the Darren Rizzi situation, right, where he essentially said they would not approve the money to pay Darren Rizzi to be special teams coordinator in 2019. Of course, the debacle with the special teams happened shortly thereafter. And then they finally did pony up the money to get Rich Bisaccia, right? So that's been kind of the running point. I had not heard much about it until Wildy brought it up a couple of days ago on his show. And I'm like, I do remember hearing something about that now. Yeah, that's right. So that kind of, comes to the surface. Well, obviously they had Rob Demovsky scheduled to be on their show earlier today. And, can we all just laugh for a second? Can we have fun with this just for 2 minutes? I know there's some people that are pissed. They want an answer. I want an answer too on Matt LaFleur. But can we just have a good time for just 2 seconds? Because this was freaking hilarious. All right. So just to kind of set the stage, I put together a couple social media posts. So first of all, Emilio, I know you've heard the audio. We're going to talk about it in more depth here in a second. Is there anything you disagree with me on up to this point? I mean, this is can we just take a second and laugh at this, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to at this point, right? Why are we getting so worked up about it? Yeah, we want it to happen. We want to know what's going on, but dude, it's just you gotta take it day by day, right? Take this 24 hours and let's enjoy this part of it right now.
Absolutely. So just to kind of walk through it, I'm watching the Wildy and Tausch show earlier. I was doing some work up here, and they said they were going to have Rob Demovsky. I was like, oh, this is perfect, man. I'll pull some quotes off of it.
Doing the work is Clayton playing Madden on the computer.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. On rookie level.
Yeah.
So I thought, all right, let me pull some quotes from their interview. I'll throw it up on Twitter. I'll tag Wildy and Tausch, obviously give them credit and everything, and just kind of, hey, what's Rob saying? And listen, here's the thing about Rob Demovsky. Rob Demovsky has been in Green Bay, I think, for 29 years covering the Packers. That's one, I think it's one less year, or maybe it's one more year than Wildy. One of them's been there for 30, the other's been there for 29. Okay. So this is a guy who's plugged in. He's got an office right in Lambeau Field. He works for ESPN, NFL Nation. So he takes his job very serious. I get it. In no way, shape, or form we poke and fun at Rob. I'm like Tausch. The thing that tickled me to death, Mark Tauscher's response to this when he called him feisty, broke me up. So anyway, I'm just throwing tweets out, right? He said, quote, everyone I've spoken to over the last 3 months, Ed Policy wants to go back to the old structure, head coach having to answer to the GM. Rob Demovsky on Wildy and Tausch, when asked about the hang-up in Matt LaFleur's contract extension. We kind of talked about this, right, Emilio? Like, okay, there sounds like Ed Policy wants to go back to the old way, and they got to get all that straightened out before they can kind of get Matt squared away. In the meantime, I think a portion of the fan base is expecting major changes to the coaching staff, right? And it's probably not going to happen. The vibe I get from Rob is they feel like Matt's probably going to be back, but he didn't take anything off the table, right? So that was the initial tweet. And then the blow-up happened, all right? And I tweeted out, well, Rob Demovsky just came in guns a-blazing on inaccurate reporting. I won't post the clip out of respect for Wildy and Tausch, but boy, did he come in hot with a laughing emoji. I thought it was hilarious, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to play the audio clip from this, and we're going to show Tauscher's reaction. And again, this was on Wildy and Tausch earlier today. Let's use a little. How about a little Nas Stackhouse on Thanksgiving?
Oh, that's perfect.
Right? Have a little fun here. So again, this is the audio from the show Wildy and Tausch earlier today, where Rob Domofsky made these comments. Okay, and again, this is Justice Mosqueda. I hope I'm saying that name right, Justice. If I'm not, I apologize. I don't think Rob knows how to pronounce it either, which you'll hear in just a second. But let's just play the audio. Here we go.
I actually wrote down some notes of things that I wanted to talk about.
All right, bring it up. Well,
let's
let Rob take over.
The first thing I heard when I tuned in was the Darren Rizzi bullshit argument. Okay?
Whoa.
Darren Rizzi.
Hey, it's
Darren
royalty-free.
Wildy said, "You can't say that."
Darren Rizzi was never coming to Green Bay.
Ooh,
Ever.
let's
Okay?
hear
I'm
it.
so tired of everyone basing stories on the Packers being cheap because of misreported crap about Darren Rizzi. Okay? Darren Rizzi didn't want to shovel snow. He didn't want to go out and do what I did. Okay.
Well, he's in Denver now. He's shoveling snow. Everybody knows. Continue.
Okay? His family wasn't moving here. They offered Darren
In his defense, he did go to New Orleans first, right?
Right.
Rizzi exactly what New Orleans or Miami or whatever godforsaken NFL city he preferred to go to. Okay? So forget the Darren Rizzi crap for once and for all.
Okay. Just wait, Jason will.
All right. So obviously he disagrees with the reporting from Justice Mosqueda.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of where we're at this point. If you can see Tausch in the background, man, fist pumping, which I've actually got it. I'll show it to you in a second. But let's continue because he says a couple things on the backside too, and then we got a couple of serious tweets, maybe a little bit more inside information on the Matt LaFleur hiring. This just broke me up, man.
Wildy reported that, so this is the interesting part.
Tauscher immediately throws Wildy under the bus. Wildy reported, no. He said, no, I didn't.
Part of this.
No, it was
that
was Tom Silverstein's story.
But you have also jumped on and said this. So the Rizzi stuff is crap, is what you're saying, Rob.
He wasn't coming here. Okay. He did, yes. Did he turn the Packers down? Yes.
Okay.
But it had nothing to do with money. He didn't.
All right, so we've been talking about this, right? We said the Packers got cheap because of that report that came out. That's according, and we always say this anytime we cover anything on the show, according to Justice Mosqueda, according to this person, according to that person. You want to give credit to whoever does the legwork. And we also want people to know on the show, I didn't do that reporting. I don't know what's right or wrong, right? This is what they're saying, and you guys draw your own conclusion as fans, right? So here we go.
Didn't want to come here.
Interesting. Okay, Jason.
All right.
Counterpoint,
so
Jason.
It goes to some article written by Justice Moscapa or whatever his name is, basing that.
Rob, his mama and papa gave him that name. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna call him Moscapa, right? And I may be saying it wrong too, but we know it's not Moscapa. And immediately in the comments on Twitter, people were posting the Lion King characters going Mustafa. Unbelievable.
You know, basing it around that. All right.
This is feisty.
I think I had a Moscata for a drink last night.
I think I had a Moscata for a drink last night.
That's a tequila, right? Is Moscata a tequila?
Tauscher says that's tequila, right? Is that a tequila?
Pretty sure it's a wine.
On their coaching staff, right? Okay, well, if you did this 13 months ago, it's more than double that because Tom Clements had 35 years of experience or whatever. So another bull crap a storyline. Okay, just another more crap. And if you guys post this crap on Twitter and sound grab me, I quit.
This is the best part, man. If you guys post this on Twitter and you sound grab me, I quit, is what he said, right? And then I'm telling you, Emilio, it wasn't no time that I actually had the video. And you guys seen how I approached the tweet, right? I was just like, hey, look, out of respect for Wildy and Tausch, as soon as I heard Rob say that, I'm like, I ain't posting it.
Yeah, right.
Because that's just wrong to kind of. But immediately, you seen someone else post it. I want to say it's Poor Man's Packers podcast, I think is what it is. We follow each other on X. Got a really good follow. Go look it up. I think it's called Poor Man's Packers podcast, or something like that. So anyway, he tweeted it out, and immediately on the show, like 10 minutes later, Wildy goes, well, our video is made it to the internet. So I will say this to Rob Demovsky, not that he knows who I am or he cares. I follow him on X. I think he does a hell of a job reporting and everything, but it's not like just because you said don't clip this that other people are not going to see that, right? They're not going to find that. But this was my favorite part. Forget whether or not you think Rob was out of line. Let's don't grandstand. Let's don't try to pile on Rob or try to pile on Justice. Can we have fun with it for a second? Wildy in the back, or I'm sorry, Tauscher in the background is what got me. Like, look at our boy back here, Emilio. And this is what Emilio or what Tauscher said. You know, I appreciate you, Rob. That was blanking awesome. Said, right? And here's the clip. Look at our boy right here. Look at him. This is why Rob's going off.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love the off season. And of course, our Patreon group reacted. We'll get to that in just a second. But Emilio, what's your take on this so far, man? What do you
that is pure off-season gold right there. I didn't think we'd get it a week out from the season being over, but it's a great start. And you love Rob's fire there. He's been doing this for how long? He's coming up on what, 20, 30 years, something like that. So I mean, he's been there. He knows what's going on. I like his point, and just way to hammer it down. You get your time on the live stream. Let it happen,
bro. It broke me up. I wasn't expecting it because Rob's on there a lot. And he just kind of comes in and gives a couple reports. You can tell he's busy, and it's like a couple reports here or there, 10 minutes, and he's gone. I got a couple things I want to say. I was like, oh, what's this? All right. So anyway, our Patreon reacted. I love Doug. Shout out to Doug in our Patreon group. It may be the same Doug here in the chat. I never know. It may be Packer Doug, I'm assuming.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, he said, I do wonder how much Demovsky's rant was a mainstream media reporter dogging a smaller podcast. Now, that goes on. I'll tell you what else goes on. I experienced this firsthand, that if a former player disagrees with something you do, what they'll typically do is use their platform to just try to dunk on you, right? And they'll throw it out there on the quote tweet. And let me tell you, how can I say this without getting in trouble? It actually happened yesterday too to someone else, or 2 days ago to someone else with Christian Watson, Matthew Golden. But people are so quick to come in and just, God, how can I say this? Kiss their ass, I guess, is the easiest way of saying it. I was going to use a very, very, very more vulgar way of communicating that. But any chance they get to jump into the mentions or the comments of the player, they just try to pile on whoever's getting dogged on, right? So I can see what you're saying, Packer Doug. My thing, Emilio, is like, why did he get so worked up on it?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. And like Doug says here, 3 huge things coming from Rob Demovsky. Justice Mosqueda cited an offer made to Darren Rizzi as proof of the Packers were cheap. Demovsky angrily denied that, stating Rizzi was never coming to Green Bay, regardless of the money. And then Demovsky called Mosqueda's reporting as BS. So that's your first clip. Not only are Goody and Matt LaFleur in the same hiring cycle, Packer capologist Russ Ball is also in the same cycle. So I love how Doug actually got something informative out of this for me. I was just over here laughing like it was a frat house or something.
You're just loving it.
Tom Silverstein reported today that Matt LaFleur was negotiating with Ed Policy and Goody, right? The implication of Silverstein's report is that Matt LaFleur is now below Goody in hierarchy. Regarding this, Demovsky said he knew Policy wanted to return to a structure where the head coach reported to the GM. So it sounds like, again, the last time Goody and LaFleur got an extension, it didn't even get announced. So maybe Goody already got his extension and they already promoted him to that old structure. Because, again, Tom Silverstein, if he reported it that way, right? And, of course, Doug said to Clay's point, I've never seen Demovsky so angry in debunking Mosqueda's reporting. So, yeah, again, that's your
confirm that is him, Clay. So
okay, good deal. That's our PTA correspondent, Packer Doug, translating everything.
We need the updated picture there, Doug. Get Rashawn over there.
That's right. Gotta have it. So, Emilio, anything else on this that you want to hit?
No,
that broke me up, dude.
Absolutely great, man. And just I don't even know, man. Like you said, you just don't see that from Rob, so you got to enjoy it while it's there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's beautiful.
Nick McSwain says Matt LaFleur going to get scapegoated for Goody's roster construction. I can't disagree. It's weird that you promote Goody, but LaFleur's on the hot seat. I've talked about this. It is what it is, you know. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, it's just a tough sell for me because, again, we knew Goody was behind the scenes when Ted Thompson got sick, right, and he couldn't really run the team, it sounded like Goody was almost, at least the way I remember the reporting, Goody was kind of helping run stuff, right? As before he was even promoted to GM. Now he gets promoted to GM in 2018, right? Obviously, that's Mike McCarthy's last year. They end up firing Mike McCarthy and then bring in Matt LaFleur. And then you got the Darren Rizzi situation, right? And how everything unfolds. The only thing I pointed out was before it was Mike McCarthy's fault, right? So they fire him. Then it was Aaron Rodgers' fault. So we trade him. And now it's Matt LaFleur's fault, right? That the team's not performing. There's one person that's been a part of all three of those decisions. That's all I mean, I look for little nuggets of facts and like commonalities. You know what I'm saying, Emilio? Like a little breadcrumb. Okay, maybe here's where some of the issue is coming from, but he was here through all three of those. Am I off base there? And do you maybe agree or disagree with what Nick's saying? Maybe you're neutral too. I don't know.
No, I think that's a fair point. Definitely. I think the only pushback I would give is like, Goody can look at it and say, I've gotten starters out of these drafts that we've needed, that we've had to lean on and use. But then I'd also kind of push back on that and say, why do we have starters? Why do we have so many starters from the draft? Was it because of skill or was it out of necessity? So that's the only other thing that would kind of hang me up on that. But you're right. I think that someone's going to take the fall for somebody else's mistakes, and it's just going to be the way it is, forever until you. At some point, you're right though. You do have to jump on it and say, all right, when are we going to relook at the GM? Not that we don't love Good or you don't love Matt, but everybody has to be accountable at some point.
Yeah, and this is a great point by Nick. He says the last All-Pro that Goody drafted was Jair. Yeah, that seems like that's not true, but I think it is. You know what I mean? I want to, on the surface, I want to go, no way. Yeah, way.
Yeah, waiting on Love. You got a couple others out there. Christian, you thought maybe could be. You got Coop if possible, but you bring in X, you bring in Micah. Those aren't your drafts. We're a draft and develop team. We need to hammer that down. We're at like a C+ B- right now. We need to get that back. We need to get that letter grade back up.
Absolutely. So another quote coming out of that's more important just to get it back on track here. Rob Domofsky said, quote, I was told going into the game and coming out of the game, talking about the Bears game, all of those possibilities are on the table, meaning he could come back. He'd be traded. He could play on 1 year. Everything's on the table. Even before the game, they were talking about everything's on the table. And coming out of the game, it's like nothing changed. It would come down to a negotiation. And right now, all possibilities are on the table, is what he said. Now, again, the story takes a turn in the Matt LaFleur negotiation. That was the thing that Spoon had posted. Spoon did not say, that was the other thing too, that Rob Domofsky, I need to have that tweet. I need to read that tweet word for word. If you'll give me just a second, I'm going to pull that up. I won't put it on the screen, but I'll read it for you because it was important. Because there's some people that are taking the Spoon article, Tom Silverstein's article, and making it. Well, no, it's on something else. But he's making it sound like it wasn't an opinion piece. It was actually an opinion piece. So I'm thinking what he's talking about here was the whole whether or not they're lowballing Matt LaFleur or not type thing. It's the vibe I got. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. That's the way I was taking it there. I know I tweeted it out. Where's it at? Everyone else put your last no. Okay. The guns ablazing sent everything off. I ain't gonna lie. Mm-hmm. So all right. So that's back in. Yeah, no, okay. So this is just a quote right here. Here we go. The story takes a turn in the Matt LaFleur negotiation. I said, quote, this is Rob Domofsky. Spoon did not say that they're only offering him a 1 or 2 year extension. Maybe they are, but that is not what Spoon reported. So and this is where it gets confusing. Like, okay, so listen, I'm stupid. I'm ignorant. I am not a very intelligent person. Anybody who watches this show knows that. You put a report. Well, can you call it a report? I guess an article, and there's something about how you put your name in the title that tells whether or not it's an opinion piece or not. I don't know. I'm not a media member. I say it every day. But it sounds like that was just his opinion. He wasn't reporting that, and many people took it as reporting. Right. That's what's going on. So again, he's confirmed, or what Rob Domofsky's saying here is, I was told the story takes a turn in the negotiation. Spoon did not say that they were only offering him a 1 or 2 year extension. Okay. Maybe they are, but that's not what Spoon reported. So the way I take that from Rob is we don't know. Nobody knows if they're offering a 1 or 2, but many people took it as, I know when we had combed through and looked at the article and everything, we kind of just talked about what was in the article. And now he didn't say they're absolutely offering a 1 or a 2, but I kind of took it as, and we talked about Tom Silverstein in the past. I feel like Tom Silverstein is in really, really tight with the front office. So anytime he says something, it kind of makes you think, okay, that's gospel. But evidently that was an opinion piece, if that makes sense. Does that make sense at all, Emilio? Or am I?
No, it does. And that's what you get. I mean, we are just fans, right, Clay? We aren't we're not in that hemisphere of writing. And like you said, I'm not over here writing articles, but it's the same way you can take a text the wrong way, right? You're looking at it there. You're not getting the inflection. You don't know how he said it. You're not, seeing the facial reactions, responses, all that stuff. And so, yeah, you kind of take it at face value or however you look at the words, and it could be completely different to 5 different people. So, that's just it.
All right. So moving along in other news that's going to kind of tie in, the latest that I seen, and I checked right before we went live again, this came out at 12:29. I hadn't seen anything else come out. Adam Schefter gave an update on John Harbaugh. Some people still believe that John Harbaugh might end up being on Green Bay's list if they decide to trade Matt LaFleur, move on from Matt LaFleur, what have you. The update is Giants and John Harbaugh are still working through the details of their contract, and it's not a done deal yet. It's not done yet, he says, or not yet done per sources. The final issues aren't over money. So it sounds like that 5-year, $100 million, sounds like it's probably accurately reported, right? It's over language. Quote, there's no derailment and nothing has changed, one source said. Talks continue and the two sides are working to get it across the finish line. So when you say it's over language, I don't know what that means. I don't know how the guaranteed money works with head coaches, if they can finagle that or if it's supposed to be fully guaranteed or how it works. But that was interesting. Now, also, could the language pertain to his say over the roster? It didn't say over
how much sway he gets in the building, which was talked about being a lot early. Maybe you come in as mini GM or have 25% of the GM ability to put your 2 cents in. And you think about it, it's not like they don't have some skill over there. They got, Dart Scadaboo, they got Malik Neighbors. They've got some talent, young talent on that team. And you would think that Harbaugh wants to keep building a program, restart, do what he did at Baltimore again. He would have a chance there. But that's also to the point of, all right, if it's not done, fine. But you also didn't see them let him leave the building, right, Clay? It's not like if, he crushed the interview enough for them to still be working out the numbers 3 days later.
Right, exactly. And then, of course, with Jeff Hafley, we've got details now that the interview with the Steelers will be on Saturday. And some people were going, well, why didn't the Dolphins hire him, right? He's the odds-on favorite to get the Dolphins job. Maybe the Dolphins are waiting to see if this falls through with Matt LaFleur, because we know John Eric Sullivan would be very, very interested in getting Matt LaFleur, right? So super chat here from Pack Attack. Thank you so much, buddy. Trade Matt LaFleur, Hafley for head coach. Thinking emoji. We talked about that earlier today. If you're not going to go, trying to think of how I can say this. I like offensive-minded coaches, right? If you were to tell me there's no way we're keeping Matt LaFleur, we're trading Matt LaFleur, you got to go get the better option. What's left? John Harbaugh's gone, right? Matt LaFleur is going to be gone for a draft pick. Who would you like to be the head coach? The only name that comes to mind for me offensively is Clint Kubiak. And he's a young offensive mind. What you're getting, though, Emilio, is Matt LaFleur again.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur before he had coaching experience, essentially, right? So I don't know how great that sounds. My second option probably would be what Pack Attack's talking about. Just promote Jeff Hafley to head coach, right? The organization gets what they want if they are trying to save money, and it sounds like they are, although Rob was pretty Rob didn't say they're not trying to save money, but Rob said that was not true before, where we thought they were cutting costs, right? But I would do that. I would go with Jeff Hafley. But now the problem is you got to go find an OC now. And people are like, now go get Mike McDaniel. Matt LaFleur, wherever he lands as a head coach, is not going to let the Packers have Mike McDaniel. That's going to be his top choice, I believe, personally.
Right.
Now we'll see. Only time will tell. You can't get Clint Kubiak because that's a lateral move, right? So now what you're going to have to do is go to keep Stenavich or go to Sean Mannion, the quarterback coach, and promote him to OC if you want to keep the same system, or if you want to bring in another system that maybe Hafley likes more than Matt LaFleur's system, then you would have to go hire another OC, scrap everything from the position room, right? Bring in a whole new coaching staff. And now Jordan Love in this offense has to learn a whole new scheme, new system. Now, if you want to keep it in the vein of the Sean McVay system, that type of thing, maybe you'll go get a young assistant, let's say on Shanahan's team, or I imagine it'd probably be the Rams you would want to go after. They're having the best year. Maybe someone there if you go out of the building, if you want to keep the same scheme. Does that make sense?
No, definitely. I mean, and if I think that to Pack texting there, yeah, Hafley at head coach would be sweet. If you could get McDaniel, that'd be perfect as your OC. But I just don't see that happening. You want another option? His name is Mike LaFleur. I
mean, thank you for the super.
Come on, I didn't even see it too old for this. I was just thinking that the whole time. I was like, you don't want LaFleur? Fine, I got another LaFleur for you,
bro. The thought of I even thought about this too. What if someone said, what if they interview Mike LaFleur? And they're obviously joking. Could you imagine if they interviewed Mike LaFleur for a head coaching job? And then you've seen that video where it's like a CIA video where the guy who was supposed to be dead walks in, another guy walks in, and they're supposed to be they're both supposed to be dead, and they walk in the room and everybody's like, oh crap, they're alive, right? What if Mike LaFleur hires Matt LaFleur as the OC? Right. So anyway, obviously we're just joking with that, but it's just wild to think how quick things can turn, right? Mm-hmm. And man, I don't know. I still feel like Matt LaFleur is probably going to be the head coach of this team. But like the super chat asked there, man, I would be okay with Hafley at head coach. If you were to say any defensive coach in the league right now, you can hire as a head coach. I prefer Hafley over Brian Flores as a head coach because Brian Flores obviously failed as a head coach in Miami. What if Hafley is the next great thing, right? So, again, my top choice would still be Matt LaFleur and Hafley back again. Fire your offensive line coach, get some new blood in there. Actually, demote Adam Stenavich to offensive line coach and bring in Mike McDaniels as your OC. Move on from Rich Bisaccia, bring in another special teams coordinator, and kind of go in that direction. That's the way I would go. But, Emilio, the big thing here, and we'll get ready to wrap up. I know you got stuff to do. We're running out of time.
Yep.
You know, if you wait until Monday or Tuesday to make a decision, I think there's going to be a lot of head coaches. These interviews that are taking place over the weekend, a lot of these guys are going to be gone. OCs, DCs will be decided, all that stuff. So, it's going to be wild.
There's 4 games this weekend, or is there 2? There's 4.
There's 4. Yeah, there's 4. We got 18.
So after this weekend, you'll have 4 more team options for coaching candidates, one to pull from, but also to refill theirs. I mean, you're going to have more, just like last week happened. You're going to have more people in there, more options. It's going to get either diluted or you're going to get caught up in the wash and you're going to owe 25 by the end of next week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Lion in the Lamb over at Rumble said, guys, get the Rumble wallet and your tip jar so I can donate to the PTA Live. I tried it the other day, and boy, they made me try to jump through a bunch of hoops, Lion in the Lamb. And I have no problem with Rumble. We broadcast on it every day. But I got to the point where I'm like, I'm done. Maybe I'll get Emilio to look into it.
Yeah, I'll take a peek. If not Lion in the Lamb, check out Patreon, man, where you can get access to the draft board. We're going to have a lot more. You'll be able to get a lot more for your money over there in Patreon.
Yeah, patreon.com is just $3, get you access to everything over there. And again, we got the draft board, we got the other chats. That's where that conversation was taking place earlier, just breaking me up. But it's our own little community. You'll get you'll get all the articles and everything that we put together. All of our draft coverage will be in there. Like Emilio said, access to the draft board too.
And by next week, right, Clay? The end of next week, the draft board's going to look. It's going to go from function not filled or whatever in all those columns to numbers are going to start populating, and we're going to start to get some rankings together.
It's literally going to be Tuesday, definitely by Wednesday. As soon as the national championship is played on Monday, by Tuesday or Wednesday, all the PFF stuff goes in. Bang, the board comes alive. The consensus big board, all the information goes in. That part comes alive, and then of course the following weekend, I think it is. We've got the East-West Shrine Bowl. We got the Senior Bowl. Yep. So we'll be adding bonuses in there to the players that really flashed at those games. And the board, like you said, it really is. It's going to come alive big time, man. So, that's pretty much all we got, guys. I just wanted to, that broke me up. We had a little bit of information there, obviously, on the backside. And I thought it was important, like in the middle of that entire circus that was Rob Domofsky going off on Justice Mustafa. I know your name, by the way, Justice. But in the middle of all that information, we did learn a little bit, right? Like it sounds like, okay, Spoon was not saying they're only offering a 1 or a 2 year deal, right? Now, is it a 5-year deal? I highly doubt it. And Matt LaFleur is probably going to hold their feet to the fire a little bit. Like, hey, man, everybody else is getting 5-year deals. Well, let me go then. Trade me, right? Yeah. I think so. We'll keep you guys up to date on any other information. You got anything else, Emilio? You good?
No, that's it. I'm excited. Maybe we get something to drop. Like we said, we got a long weekend coming up. Monday off and a whole nother set of coaches coming out. So be ideal if we can get that thing done by Saturday morning there, Packers, and get this taken care of.
Yes, that would be ideal. No doubt about it, man. So anyway, you guys check out our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We will be back later if any news breaks. If not, whenever it does break, you'll see us go live. And I'll try to always give everybody a little bit of notice in the Patreon group too, that we're getting ready to go live. So there as well. So appreciate everybody. Hit that like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
There we go.
Bye, guys.